Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. She had oral surgery the other day. She'll be back. I promise she will. She can do a video or two a day, but it hurts her to talk. So we're not gonna make her talk, and we're certainly not gonna make her talk about Space Daddy, Elon Musk, or Twitter, or any of that. But this is kind of a follow-up video to one I did the other day, talking about Ben & Jerry's and how they stopped advertising because Twitter has become a haven for hate and right-wing politics, and it's, you know, oh my God, it's the lawless internet, and how could you? And they're really, it's just, you know, hyper-progressive people who have had control of the platform for years having a temper tantrum because it's no longer theirs. And the same people did not believe that Elon Musk was capable of purchasing Twitter. I had people, I speculated he was going to buy it before he said he was going to buy it. I said, he's making jokes, but he's not joking. Like, this guy is not joking. He would not be making jokes about buying Twitter. He would not be asking the questions he's asking unless he's seriously thinking about probably buying the website. And my God, I had so many people be like, Clownfish, you're full of crap. I had one guy, some journalist from South America, Venezuela. I think he's Venezuelan. And he was like, you just won Elon Musk. You're fantasizing about Elon Musk buying Twitter, so it becomes a right-wing haven for your right-wing politics. And that will never happen, you chud. And then when it looked like it wasn't going to happen, that he was going to withdraw the deal, you know, the guy came out of the woodwork, be like, see, I told you, Clownfish. And then when the deal closed, I tweeted at the guy and I said, look, bitch, it actually happened. I told you it was going to happen. One way or another, he wanted this website. I never heard from the guy. I think he blocked me. Whatever, piss off. Anyway, we're going to talk about this situation. And now we have The Guardian. The Guardian, you know, that British paper that's always begging for money. You know, they get to have like 3 long paragraphs of why you should give them money instead of give money to starving children in Ethiopia or whatever. Yeah, so now they're like, Twitter is a right-wing website now. Why are liberals still on it? And they're basically going to shame you into leaving Twitter. I asked this question myself. I asked it the other day in that Ben & Jerry's video. I'm like, okay, guys, you're making a huge deal about how awful Twitter is and how you're not going to spend any more money on Twitter. But you're not actually leaving Twitter. Everybody's complaining about Elon Musk and all the right-wing chuds and the quote-unquote hate speech, but you're not actually leaving. Why aren't you leaving? Could it be that you're addicted and there's no place else to go? And now Elon is your pimp daddy, and he's going to backhand you. Yo, I mean, seriously, I don't understand if it's so damn offensive. It's not going to get better for you because you want things to go back to how they were 2 or 3 years ago, when you had activists installed at Twitter and they were censoring every damn thing they found offensive and or anything the government told them to. Now, we could argue whether or not Elon Musk is actually as pro-free speech as he claims to be. I think Twitter is freer than it was, but it's not going to be a free-for-all. It's not going to happen. Plus, he's trying to woo advertisers, and you can't really do that. But apparently, he doesn't give a crap about Ben & Jerry's. I'd love to know what they were actually spending. I don't think they were spending a whole lot of money. I really don't. But we're going to talk about this because now, if you're a good liberal, you will leave Twitter. You will leave Twitter because you have no business being there. Did you hear that, Hollywood? You better get your ass off of Twitter, because you have no business being on this website because Elon Musk runs it and it's a right-wing haven now. It's a deplorable place to be. Why? It's practically like 4chan or 8chan or 16chan or maybe even 32chan. We're pretty sure that one exists too somewhere. We just never went looking for it because it's a bad place and we're not bad people. I'm going to talk about this before we get into it any further, and I've gotten into it pretty far. Please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do, not from Geeky, from me, so you get a little woohoo. Get a little woohoo. Yeah, coming from The Guardian, Twitter's right-wing takeover is complete. Why are liberals still on it? Now, there was some drama, and this is after I recorded the other video. Apparently, they either resigned or Musk fired them. The Trust and Safety Committee, they were trying to ban What is a Woman, the Daily Wire, from running on the site. And I guess there was a compromise reached where they can run the movie on the site, but they can't monetize it or something. I'm not really sure of the particulars, but their trust and safety person left again. Again, this is like what, the second or third one? Yeah, it's another a fresh wave of turmoil among key officials at Twitter since Musk took over. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about that because that is, I believe, related to this article because of this movie. But first, we're going to talk about this from The Guardian. Musk's acquisition of the company has transformed it into the center of the conservative media ecosystem. And I'm glad. I am. This is the best thing that could have possibly happened to Twitter because you deserve it. Twitter deserves it because 2 years ago, Twitter was the center of the progressive liberal media ecosystem and everything revolved around Twitter. And you see how all the dominoes have been knocked over. Since Elon Musk bought Twitter, all of these digital media sites just kind of crumbled, and since he bought Twitter and showed that it's okay to, fire like half of your worthless employees and keep the ones that are actually willing to work, everybody else started doing the same thing at these tech companies. And everything just kind of started to implode, because they had a system locked down for years, almost 10 years, where it was Twitter and digital media and venture capital, Silicon Valley, all of it just kind of congealed. But Twitter was, as they called, a critical node. You take out Twitter, you take out the whole thing eventually. It's going to take a while, but there's no rebuilding it because there was no alternative because they never thought they would lose it. And through Twitter, we saw the government, pushing narratives, and we saw the media pushing narratives, and the media would constantly quote Twitter, and it was one big, giant circle jerk. And anything that didn't align with what Twitter thought, and people, they were losing jobs over Twitter, getting canceled, and all that shit. That's where cancel culture came from. Anything that didn't align with the court of Twitter became misinformation trademark, and it wasn't allowed to be on any platform. Like, you weren't allowed to talk about it. You couldn't spread it on Twitter. Google would even, disapprove of some of these links. And if enough people complained, websites would be taken down. If enough people complained, people's careers would be taken down. So the best thing that could happen to Twitter is that a guy like Elon Musk came around and completely flipped the script. If you told me 2 years ago that Twitter would become a right-wing haven, media haven, and that the Guardian would be complaining about it, I'd be like, you are out of your freaking mind. There's no way in hell. Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell, liberal Twitter. You deserve all of it because this is what you did to everybody else for years. Looks like they've finally done it. They said for years, the far right has repeatedly tried and failed to set up a social network of their own, one where they can spread conspiracy theories and sow hate without any of the pesky content moderation that happens on the big tech platforms. Except for all the content moderation that's still happening on Twitter right now. It's basically circa 2012 and not circa 2022, but I digress. They talk about, Gab, Parler, Getter, Truth Social. None of them really gained any traction. No reasonable person believes that a Twitter clone just for conservatives is a viable business anymore, Parler's parent company said in a statement. Yeah, so you know why that is? Because there's no longer any need. Elon Musk has successfully turned Twitter into a site where extremists have free reign. That is not true. Go ask some extremists if they have free reign on Twitter. I'm seeing people still get slapped on the wrist for stupid stuff. It's not as stupid as it was a year or two ago for sure, but it's still pretty stupid stuff. So it's not quite what you're just mad that you're not in charge anymore. There isn't even a head of content moderation anymore. On Thursday, the head of trust and safety, Ella Irwin, resigned, apparently over the What is a Woman thing, which And I saw her tweets and she didn't seem salty or anything about it. I don't know. We'll talk about that here after this. But Twitter lurched to the right almost immediately after Musk acquired the social network last year and started bringing back banned accounts. I think it's because he threw out all those Stay Woke shirts and then everybody just, he replaced them all with like MAGA hats or something. I don't know what happened exactly. I think, it was a software thing. I don't know. God, this is really dramatic. I mean, this is right there, the Ben and Jerry's like, it's a cesspool of deplorables and it's the most hateful place on the internet now. I'm like, no, it literally is like any social media platform from before 2016 is what it's become. But we can't have that. We can't have that. Elon now controls Twitter. Unleashed the racial slurs when account proclaimed after the purchase was complete. And everybody told me it wasn't going to happen. Ha ha. Hashtag Clownfish was right. Again, the use of racist language soared as bigots felt emboldened. Twitter has felt extra toxic since Musk took over, but in recent weeks, things have become even more extreme. It feels as if the right-wing takeover of Twitter is complete. Oh, God, I love these people. They're so salty. They're so salty. Just go someplace else. You've been saying for a year you're going to go someplace else, but you know what? There's no place else to go because you're too dumb to use the alternatives. Mastodon? Yeah, y'all couldn't figure that out. You're too stupid. None of you have the money, apparently, to build something better yet. You're too broke. Maybe you relied too heavily on Twitter. Maybe you made Twitter way more important than it ever should have been. And whoopsie doopsie, you lost it. Dumbasses. Talking about Ron DeSantis' decision to announce his presidential run on Twitter was one of the major markers of the shift to a more explicitly partisan Twitter. Oh, fuck right off. Twitter was explicitly partisan for years. It just was on the other side of the aisle. Seriously, Fox News used to be the place where conservatives went to break news, but the right-wing ecosystem has turned on the network, leaving Twitter as the center of media gravity for the Republican Party just as the 2024 election heats up, Axios noted. Bolstering Twitter's credentials as the new center of the conservative ecosystem is Tucker Carlson's announcement he's going to be launching a new version of his show on the platform. Oh, the Daily Wire. Here we go. Here we go. The Daily Wire, a right-wing media outlet, also announced that it's jumping in bed with Twitter and will stream its top podcasts on the platform. You're angry because 2 years ago, if you could have gotten all these guys thrown off of Twitter completely, you would have. And you could have. In some cases, they did get some of these people thrown off of Twitter completely. And you're angry. Because it was yours. Twitter was yours, and you lost it. Well, you lost it because you went too far to the left, and you didn't have enough money to save it from a guy like Elon Musk to come along and snatch it up, and he way overpaid for it. Way overpaid for it. So yeah, they're talking about was a woman, and they backpedaled on that. They weren't going to put it on there. And then they weren't, whatever. And then Musk finally said, yeah, we'll put it on here, but we're not putting ads on it. And then this head of safety quit. And now everybody's like, what the hell happened there? But how dare they? How dare they allow people to make up their own minds, to put something out there and allow people to make up their own minds on it, put a content warning on it. Just say, hey, look, this might make some people upset, whatever. It's your decision, right? But he said it was a mistake by many people at Twitter to ban the movie originally. And but it said that it breaks no laws. He said it's polite to use preferred pronouns, breaks no law, and it's acceptable. No, he didn't say it was perfectly acceptable on Twitter. They're misrepresenting what he said. And I do remember he said it didn't break any laws. It would be allowed on Twitter, but they weren't allowed to monetize it. and it wasn't going to be promoted unless you were already a follower of the Daily Wire. It wasn't like you were going to sign up for Twitter on day one and they're going to shove this movie in your face and then throw some Ben and Jerry's ads on it, right? Yeah, so they're misrepresenting this. You know, also what's acceptable on Twitter? Having the CEO boost an account parroting AOC. Oh my God. How could you? How could you do that? Whether Twitter can ever be trusted again depends in large part on what happens when Linda Yaccarino starts as CEO. A lot of people have questions about her, both sides of the aisle. Nobody seems to like her, so I don't think it's going to last very long. She stated she's going to do that in a few weeks. Yaccarino was a chairman of global advertising and partnerships at NBC Universal and was chosen by Musk presumably because he wants ads. Well, he's not getting Ben and Jerry's, I guess. That means content moderation and clamping down on hate speech. Whether Musk will allow that to happen remains to be seen. I don't think so. He's already gotten into it with her. You know, I think she's going to last about 2 months tops and be like, yeah, I can't work with them. In the meantime, everyone, myself included, who is still on Twitter has some hard questions to ask themselves. There's no pretending anymore that Twitter is anything other than a far-right social network headed by a CEO who revels in chaos and is platforming extremism. So why are news organizations still on it? Why is it? Because they depend on it, because they put all this time into it and they thought that they owned it, lock, stock, and barrel, and they were told. Everybody was told this is the place to be. Twitter's the most important thing on the planet. I mean, we saw people walk away. We saw companies walk away from Twitter and come right back and then go buy their gold check. They bitched about it, but they bought it because they think they need it. Why is anyone who considers themselves to have liberal values still on it? I don't know. Ask the people who have liberal values who will not stop tweeting incessantly 400 times a day about how awful Elon Musk is and how awful Ron DeSantis is and how awful Republicans are, why they're on a platform that is unsafe. You're just, adding to the engagement. I'm serious. You're adding to the engagement. Positive or negative, it's engagement, and he's going to package it and sell it to advertisers. And you know what? They might not have Ben and Jerry's, but they might get some gun companies or some like survival ration foods or whatever those weird ass pills Alex Jones is selling. That shit, that might be on Twitter, and it might pay better than Ben and Jerry's, and they might be happy to take their money. I'm just saying, I don't know. You're helping him make money. Why are you still on Twitter? If you hate it that much, leave. Ego. Ego is the main answer to that question. A lot of journalists have built very large followings on Twitter. Yes, and now all their websites are shut down. Nostalgia is another factor. Twitter used to be fun and useful and is difficult to leave behind. Twitter hasn't been fun and useful since like 2012, 2013 because of people like you. It's been co-opted and corrupted by people like you. And I think it's starting to roll back to being more fun and useful. I'm not seeing nearly as many dumbasses on Twitter as I used to, unfortunately, because I used to like to make fun of them. But now it's like, shit, they're not saying as many stupid things because they know they're going to get ratioed. By the alt-right extremists. Oh my God. It's time to start trying, though. We can't keep hand-wringing about Twitter turning into a cocktail party for Nazis while stubbornly refusing to leave the room. Oh, piss off, bitch. I'm going to wrap this up. Quit Twitter. Go ahead and quit Twitter. Please. That's the point. Quit Twitter. I hope Twitter might blow up, and that would be fine. I'm just glad that the 2022 version of Twitter no longer exists, and it can never exist again. This needs to be like a warning to humanity. Like, never let this shit happen again. Never put so much into one social media platform that people have to like live and die by it, and it's basically a kangaroo court. Fuck old Twitter. It's done. It's dead. It's good. And the rest of you can please leave. Just go. Gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Sorry, I yelled loudly.
That's okay. I got the limiter on.
Okay. So
You can tell like
setting?
Yeah, you can
Wait,
tell.
really? It automatically limits it when I yell?
It does. When the pitch gets too high, it does. Sometimes if you sound like all robotic, it's because it's bringing the decibels down.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.